Good evening. I would like to call to order the Board of Supervisors meeting for Monday, August 18th at 7 p.m. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Well, why don't we start with a roll call to establish a quorum. Amy?
Supervisor Mark Hain.
Here.
Supervisor Jeannie Vogel.
Here.
Chairman Dan Wolfel.
Here.
Supervisor Linda Waite.
Here.
Supervisor Trent Olson.
Here.
All right, good. We have a quorum. How about meeting the audience? The free food light was mistakenly left on, so if you're here for snacks. If not, how about we start with you, ma'am? Introduce yourself, if you would, please. You.
Kathy Steinmetz. I live on the South Shore. Is this on?
Yep.
Yep.
Do you just want me to read my statement?
No,
No.
just
Okay.
your name.
Just
Kathy
meet and
Steinmetz. Odette Vincent.
Gwen Grayboys, 5343 South Lake Road.
Old veteran.
Joe Grayboys, 5343 South Lake Road.
Good.
Just take it up.
Brenda Lang, 6417 Whitefish Bay Road.
Pam Maloney, 6386 Whitefish Bay.
Ron Malloy, 6386 Whitefish Bay.
Tim Temby, 5733 Town Line Road.
I don't live here. I'm Jason Miller. I'm from Door County Soil and Water, and I do the DSIS coordinator. So I'm just here in support of your guys' noxious weed ordinance. And if anyone wants to talk afterwards, I'm around.
Cool.
John Beck, 5267 Forest Road.
Kathy Gibson, 5381 South Lake Road.
Jim Gibson, and I live with her.
Keep that microphone back there.
Clark Lake.
We have extras.
What was the last
I
name?
didn't catch your
She
name,
gets it.
ma'am.
I'm sorry, what was the last name?
Nope.
Betty Van Ballinger.
Okay.
Wayne
yeah.
Semmerling, 5531 Clark Lake Drive.
Beth Partain, 5250 Grady Road.
Terry Schneider, 5258 West Shore Drive.
Jean Elsty, 4339 Glidden Drive.
Cole Zerling, Sturgeon Bay.
George Zachariason, 6290 Bluff Court Trail.
Dave Norman, Sturgeon Bay.
Josh Julane, Sturgeon Bay.
Okay, good. Welcome to all of you. I don't know what the topic is tonight, but I have some feeling it's got something to do with Clark Lake. All right. Opportunity for public participation on non-agenda items only. So if somebody wants to speak, we'll give you a couple minutes to do that. Is there anybody here that wants to do that? Since you were first to introduce yourself, we'll give you the opportunity. Use the microphone, please.
It comes out. My name is Kathy Steinmetz, and I've been coming to Door County for 40-plus years, and we've owned a home on Clark Lake for the past 17 years. We love Clark Lake, and we worry about the damage wake-enhanced boating will do to our lake. With an average depth of 7 feet, Clark Lake is far too shallow for this type of boating activity. There are enough studies out there, most recently the University of Minnesota St. Anthony Falls study, which demonstrates the damage these boats do to lakes even at depths of just 20 feet. Again, Clark Lake, average depth 7 feet. An obvious conclusion is that these boats operating with ballast filled with 1,000 to 3,000 gallons of water will devastate a shallow lake bottom. In addition to the environmental impact, the large waves these boats kick up are a safety hazard for kayakers, paddleboarders, and fishermen. Bailey's Harbor and Jacksonport have taken action and enacted an ordinance to protect Kangaroo Lake. 200 other lakes in Wisconsin are also protected by ordinances enacted by their townships. Why hasn't Sevastopol acted on this? We're asking for the Park and Rec Board to untable this issue and move forward with the town board to enact an ordinance banning wake enhanced voting on Clark Lake. This issue will not go away and needs to be addressed. Clark Lake cannot protect itself. Please protect Clark Lake.
Next person?
I don't know if I should go next. Perhaps you want to do without. My issue is not on Clark Lake, so perhaps you want to hear all the Clark Lake testimony first?
Makes no difference to us. Feel free, you have the mic.
Okay.
We can handle multiple topics. Not well.
My issue is on the CAFO that is being proposed in your jurisdiction. There is a new CAFO that's going to be, it's got a permit, it's in process. I have a statement to read. CAFOs, are concentrated animal feeding operations, are incompatible with Door County's geology, tourism, economy, and a healthy lifestyle for all of its residents. The farm at County Road T and Matthew Road is proposing to expand to a maximum of 2,400 animals from the current 1,400 animals allowed, according to a recently published notice printed in the Door County Advocate, which I may say nobody saw. It was printed July 23rd. Nobody's been aware of this. Door County has very shallow soils with an underlying karst geology, and it is not an appropriate location for any kind of large, concentrated animal feeding operation. Our neighbors to the south in Kewaunee County can relate the dangers of CAFOs, as many of their wells have been polluted and made unsafe to drink by the nearby large farms there. Many residents have installed purification systems or have been forced to buy bottled water for consumption. Door County's economy is very dependent upon the tourism industry. If our water supply becomes damaged, our streams and beaches are polluted, having more frequent algae blooms caused by increased nitrates in the water. Our tourism industry will be affected. Our air quality can also be impacted, as anyone who has ventured near a CAFO can tell you. They often smell, particularly when the manure slurry is being spread on nearby fields. Why is the DNR and the governing bodies of Door County allowing one industry's needs to override the concerns of hundreds of others who depend upon tourism for their livelihood? People visit the county for its beautiful beaches, magnificent forests, enchanting state parks, protected lands and trails. If some of those are damaged by a CAFO, tourism will be negatively affected. If our water becomes unsafe to drink, our beaches frequently close due to bacteria or algal blooms, our streams polluted so fish are less likely to spawn in them, it will affect the hospitality industry and people's desire to visit Door County, hence livelihoods. Finally, a CAFO affects all of us who live in Door County. We deserve to have safe water to drink and air to breathe. While we can install purification systems, the people most affected may be least able to afford these costly systems. Nobody wants the smell of concentrated manure to seep into their yards and homes several times a year when the farm is spreading its waste nearby. Also, please note that some of the fields for spreading the waste are near the city of Sturgeon Bay's well water system. So it's not just the rural people that will be affected. Is the city prepared to increase its monitoring and sanitation procedures in response to this expansion? Do the taxpayers feel they should be responsible for paying for this? What are the farm's emergency plans in case of a spill? I can assure you, after my husband's gone through the massive plans, there are none. We have all seen the massive cleanup efforts required from spills of many chemicals we do not want in our water systems. A breach in a holding tank, etc., could cause significant damage to nearby groundwater, and with our karst geology, the pollution can travel several miles underground to affect many wells. A public information session will be held in the near future by the DNR to answer questions from concerned citizens of the county. We have gotten enough letters in that they are going to do something of some kind of an information system, but they probably will not do much. We are depending upon local leaders to do something. You guys can erect roadblocks to this. The details will be posted on the social media and local papers, and I'm asking people to make their views known to the DNR and to you guys. It is your future livelihood and environment that is at stake. There are literally hundreds of people that are alarmed when we found out about this in the last week. And the DNR closing session is August 22nd. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, thank you, Mr. Chairman, Town Board Supervisors, for the opportunity to just update you on some new information and activity surrounding our request for a artificially enhanced wake boating ordinance. Both townships, I think you've received, or there were a pile out there, maybe they're gone, a 5 reasons document that was requested by Ms. Vieri of the Jacksonport Plan Commission. Since protecting Clark Lake requires both townships, this is not a, we gave them this information, we gave you this information, everybody needs to have the same information. These are the 5 distilled 5 reasons, which I'm not going to go over now because you have it to read. Kathy referred to the University of Minnesota St. Anthony Falls study. This was really a landmark study with underwater cameras at different levels of lake bottom with overpassing wake boats. Their recommendation, at least 20 feet depth of water to run a wake boat. Clark Lake has less than 1% of its total surface area overlying that water. It is simply too shallow. We have routinely seen wake boats in surf mode in 13 feet of water on Clark Lake. And they are not going at 2 miles an hour, as was previously stated in a public comment section. We know without a doubt that they're causing disruption of the bottom, and ongoing disruption will cause destruction. I wanted to summarize a couple key points from our Clark Lake Association annual meeting. We were fortunate to have Richard Phillips from the Last Wilderness Alliance give us an excellent update on where things stand. We were also fortunate to have Mr. Londo from the Park and Rec Committee in attendance and Chairman Wilson from the Town of Jacksonport present. I have the PowerPoint and would be happy to share it with any of you who were interested but unable to make the meeting. He asked and answered a couple questions. Who can protect Clark Lake from the environmental damages done by wake boats in surf mode? Wisconsin is unique in the United States as being the only state that gives jurisdiction of lakes to the local municipalities. Knowing that, the county cannot protect our lakes. They only govern rivers and streams. The DNR cannot protect our lakes. They don't write laws. They can enforce laws, but they don't write laws. And the state is currently paralyzed with lobbyists on both sides, and we don't foresee any proposed legislation coming out of the state for another year or 2. The big reason they're paralyzed is because the wake sports industry wants to take the local jurisdiction away from the towns and give it to the state. But who knows better how to protect our lakes than our elected officials and the people who live in the towns that currently have jurisdiction over the lakes? As you know, Clark Lake Association joined the Wake Sports Reform Coalition. We are now 80 members strong, and it's there are multiple different organizations from tourism and fishing and environmental lake associations, all working to secure an ordinance that's sufficient at the state level, but it doesn't look like that's coming soon. So why pass an ordinance now? Municipalities are escalating in their ordinance. In 2024, 19 municipalities passed ordinances. In the first 6 months of 2025, we now have 25 municipalities that have passed ordinances to restrict or prohibit wake boats, and they're currently protecting 300 plus lakes in the state. As more lakes are prohibiting and restricting wake boating, Clark Lake becomes increasingly vulnerable. Now that Kangaroo Lake is protected, we are the only lake in Door County that still allows wake boats to come on the lake. The people bring their boat here because Door County is a destination. It's a vacation destination, and they see they can still use the lake. The problem is, as you know, that invasive species move in ballast water. These boats cannot be emptied completely. They have to be sterilized with antifreeze heat, there's no way you can look inside and see, like you can pull weeds off the outside of a trailer. You cannot access these ballast tanks. And these ballast tanks right now, the two species we're most worried about are spiny water flea and quagga mussels. Quagga mussels are in Lake Geneva already, and spiny water flea is in 20 lakes. When you get spiny water flea in the lake, you cannot eradicate it except to drain down the lake and kill everything. The fish cannot eat these little spines. We need to take action to prevent that. It feels like Clark Lake is being held hostage right now. As Kathy said, it cannot protect itself. Only the two towns can protect it, and both of the towns have to protect it. It doesn't matter who goes first. It doesn't matter who has the bigger part of the shoreline. Through Greg Holthurst and Soil and Water, we got measurements of the short line, and no town reaches the 60% minimum that would allow them to go this alone. So both towns have to work together. We have to share this mission. I am requesting, as Kathy did, that we move this out of the Park and Rec Committee sooner than January 2026. There is a method for removing a tabled item. There are several reasons we need to do this. The DNR is not going to take sides, and that was one of the reasons the ordinance was tabled, is because we were waiting to see what the DNR was going to say and do. We know now they will not be able to come forward to make a statement. So, as I've said before, and Kathy said again, Clark Lake cannot protect itself. It needs the towns in whose jurisdiction it lies to protect it for its own health and for the health, safety, and enjoyment of all of us who use it. Thank you for your attention. I know it's a big topic. We've been at it for a long time, but thank you for allowing me to bring more information, new information forward.
Okay, if there is anyone else wishing to speak about the Clark Lake thing, okay. I just want to make sure that you bring us something new. I don't want to prohibit you from talking, but I don't want a complete repeat of what we've heard. Thank for Gwen, but, okay, so whoever, is it, sir?
My name's Tim Temby, as I said earlier. We've got more and more scientific evidence demonstrating the fact that enhanced wake boat activity in waters shallower than 20 feet ultimately does significant damage. Through to the great actions of both the Town of Sevastopol and Jacksonport, the efforts that you have made through ordinances that include slow no wake areas, no motor zone areas, etc. The water quality and the fishing habitat and the fishing quality and ultimately the quality of that entire body of water has significantly improved over the last 25 years. The average temperature for Clark Lake since the last part of July through August has been about 78 to 79 degrees. All of the temperature, with that high temperature, the majority of the fish are concentrating in that 20-plus area at this point in time, in the deepest water. We're attracting a tremendous amount of people for a number of reasons, including fishermen. I'm sure you guys are aware of the high number of people that are coming to fish and ultimately use that boat for recreational. All of those people are fishing in 20 feet of water, including myself. Even the people who are very committed, who are local residents to wakeboating activity, do not have the option to wakeboat in 20 feet of water. I have witnessed it multiple times where those who would like to, I'm confident that if they had the opportunity to use 20 feet of water, they would. But they can't. There are multiple people ultimately anchored and fishing over that 20 feet of water. Consequently, and I have it in multiple times of video, etc., they're operating in 13 to 15, 12 feet of water consistently because they don't have an option. Now we've taken all other options for them to go to other bodies of water, and anyone that ultimately wants so I'm not presenting new information, I'm presenting the updated information to the reality of really the best intentions are not possible on a 900-acre lake where there is only a few hundred feet of depth that is actually capable of supporting this activity. Like my other speakers tonight, I ask you, let's please take this out of committee. Let's take the action that we have in other areas. Let's continue to do the quality work that we've worked on together to protect this body of water. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else wishing to speak back there? We're done on the,
Okay.
yes, miss?
I just, can you hear me? I just have a concern with the safety. I was out in my paddle boat a couple weeks ago, and there were boats out on the lake, but not near me where I was. But there were some really big waves coming at me, and I'm like, oh no, is this one of those enhanced wake boats? But normally my paddle boat rides the waves just fine, but this time I got wet and I got water in my paddle boat. And I got to thinking, if my grandsons would have been out there in the kayaks, they would have gotten drenched with the water. And the safety on this, it just makes me wonder, and my question for all of you is, who's responsible if someone gets hurt?
Okay.
Hi, I'm Wayne Simmerling. I live at 5531 Clark Lake Drive, so I'm actually in Jacksonport. But I went to the meeting a few weeks ago where they had a very professional thing. They showed all the videos about the bad things for the wake boats, and it's amazing. And I've lived on Clark Lake since '83. I've done a lot of your fence work here. I own security fence, and I love it here. And I boat here in Jacksonport. We use your room here for different things. I'm in the Cherryland Model A's, and we just want to keep that wakeboarding off Clark Lake. It's really, after I saw that performance, it'll kill the lake, and it's very sad. You know, I'm going to be 80 years old, so I don't do a lot of things on the lake like I used to, but still, it's a beautiful, beautiful lake to be on. I'm very fortunate to live on that lake. It's so quiet, it's just amazing. It's only a little bit busy on 4th of July weekend. Other than that, it's like heaven. And I just like to help keep our lake safe and nice. Thank you for giving me a chance to talk.
No problem. Anyone else? Last chance. Anyone else wanting to speak? No? Grab the mic, Jean.
Oh, I have it here.
Okay, thank you.
I'm Jean Elsteeg, 4339 Glidden Drive. I'm also president of the Glidden Drive Association. Our board was just made knowledgeable about the CAFO last week, and we intend on asking the state to have a public hearing on this. We have many concerns about this. Specifically, the liquid manure will be released at 4 times the level it was in 2024. Am I wrong about that? No. No. Okay. So we're going to request a public hearing. Our membership does not know about this issue yet because we were more worried with getting the details and getting a letter to the DNR. I don't think that they will be happy, and they will be happy to be involved with the other associations. And we just, again, like some town support on this issue to get our questions answered. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else?
I just
Yes.
want to add to the, I'm sorry. My name is Brenda Lang. I live on Whitefish Bay Road. Annette and you just spoke about this CAFO. I'm not going to repeat what they said, but I think people should know that after this so-called planned expansion, this operation is going to generate 21,450,000 gallons of manure and process wastewater and 1,570 tons of solid waste annually. Many residents are writing to the DNR asking for in-person public hearing. This is occurring in our town, and as a resident who has had unsafe levels of nitrates in my drinking water, I am very concerned. I think we should all be concerned. The last thing we need for residents and tourists in this county is brown water coming out of our faucets like Kewaunee County. So I don't know what can be done about it, but something should be done about it.
Okay. All done? All right. I'll just address a couple of things quickly, and then we're going to move on to our agenda. With respect to the Clark Lake, we have a meeting on Wednesday night, the 20th. I'm sure it'll be a topic then. That's all I can offer at this time, and we'll see where it tracks. I know that the board is aware of all of the information that's out there because Gwen has kept us well informed. The newspaper, internet, and you name it have been talking about it, so it's not a secret. To jump to the conversation on Gilbert Farms, we're most concerned about the fact that nobody reads the Advocate, so I don't know how anybody found out about it. I know. It's unfortunate. It really has such poor readership that, and we as a public office, we now put all of our things in the Pulse, as do most other communities. So one of our things is to go back and see if there's a way they can at least address this for future issues. I have talked to Greg Colthurst at Soil and Water. They have been aware of this for some time. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but my impression would be is that they are reasonably comfortable with where this thing has been tracking. Now, on the flip side, he's expecting a hearing, and all of the documentation that came out regarding this says you have to submit 5 different sources to obtain a public hearing, and I'm confident from what I've heard about the process that there will be a public hearing, which will give everybody an opportunity for input. And the other thought just escapes me. Greg said typically, at least during these meetings, or hearings, they're able to make modifications to what's going to happen. Whether or not it satisfies our itch or not, I can't say. But he said it is favorable, obviously, to have it and to try and express concern and see where it's going. And that's about all I can share on that topic. If somebody else has something they want to speak to, this would be a quick moment, but otherwise, we'll roll on. Yes?
People who are writing in need to request an in-person public hearing. What the DNR responded back this morning with is they think they're going to do this via a Zoom. I literally have probably 100 or more people maybe writing letters. It's a huge outcry.
No.
And we're insisting that.
That's the first time I'd heard that, so.
It was an email back from Brittany. I emailed
Okay.
her and offered and said, well, we've had these kind of things, because she's in Michigan. She doesn't know the area.
Would you send a copy of that to our town clerk?
A copy of my email?
The
Or her
copy that,
response?
the response that said,
Absolutely, I can do that.
right, do that,
Your email
and
I
we'll
got.
we'll follow up on it.
Basically, they're proposing whatever, and I said that's not gonna be acceptable, and she said she'd take it up with the supervisors.
Okay, we'll follow up on that.
Thank you.
All right, good to go?
One quick question. There's been a lot of people in contact with Greg Colthurst. I'm sure when he comes in the morning, you could just shudder with his inbox. But do you happen to have maps that, this is what I asked him for, where I can overlie the farm where, the land where they're gonna spread the manure with the watershed that's underneath it? Because I went through that whole DNR permit. I could not find it. And here it just says Frontal Lake, Michigan watershed. Well,
I do not have any maps,
you know,
but
okay.
that's
If I
something,
find something, I will share it with you.
yeah, well, the maps that are on the Door County website, the GIS maps, tell you what the soil depths are. Granted, it might vary, but you can at least from a resource, but we can ask that when we ask the question with
Yeah, 'cause
respect.
we don't know where those 1,000 acres, or extra 1,000 acres are.
I'm hopeful it's all getting hauled to Kiwanee. No, just kidding. I shouldn't say that.
Yeah, you shouldn't say that.
Well, it's hopeful it's wherever. At any rate, we will follow up on that. So, all right. Let's go back to our meeting agenda, and I assume it was properly noticed?
The agenda was properly noticed.
All right, we would need a motion to approve the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion by Trent,
Second.
second by Jeannie. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, our agenda is good. First thing is the approval of minutes from the Board of Supervisors meeting from July 16th and the Board of Review meetings from July 22nd. You should have all had a chance to read those prior to this and send in any proposed corrections. with that, a motion would be in order?
I'll
Okay.
make a motion to approve the minutes from the Board of Supervisors meeting for July 16th, 2025, and the Board of Review meeting from July 22nd, 2025.
Okay, a motion from Jeannie, second by?
Second. Oh, go ahead, Trent, you can have it.
Second by Trent. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, opposed, motion carried. All right, pending business. You didn't get any handouts with respect to funding because frankly, there's so many variations on it, I didn't want to burn down a ream of paper. At last month's meeting, we approved borrowing the necessary funds to make the payments, which all occur in 2026. Anticipating, God only knows if this will happen, but anticipating some reduction in interest rates at September, I have not sent in an application as yet to borrow those funds. At the current interest rate, which is 5.5%, our anticipated payment would be roughly right, $152,000. If they saw fit to do a 0.5% reduction, which I think might be aggressive, our payment would drop to $148. This is annually and change. And if they got really aggressive and went full point, it would drop to $144. Now, you read as much about this as I do. There's all kinds of conversation as to whether or not there will be, there won't be, whether there'll be another one in December or not. So my focus and what the audience sees up there in front of them is, do we have enough cash to try and play the game of interest rates? And what I did is I asked Amy to take a look at our available cash and what we could temporarily use to make the January payment, with the idea being that we would have a reduction in interest at least at one of those two meetings, or maybe a quarter at each, which might be beneficial to us. Now, the funds are there, so they'd have to be replenished. We would put an application in to recoup those, but we would have enough to make the January payment. We'd have to apply for the loan and make sure we have the funds back to make the March payment, assuming they're on the same timetable. Now, as part of our discussion at last month's meeting was whether or not the way the Board of Land Commissioners funds work, if we borrow money now, the first payment is 2027, March of 2027. Obviously, that delayed payment comes at a cost of interest, and depending on what number you choose to use, it's $8,000 to $12,000 added expense to roll it to 2027. So it kind of really becomes a flip of the coin as to whether we move today, tomorrow, borrow, risk rolling it out, where to go. Right now, in my mind, I'm holding the application for sure until after the September meeting. I propose that we use town funds to make a January payment on the hopes that we could lower the interest rate over the term and thereby reduce the exposure for the town. In doing that, it will roll to 27 for the tax. We will not be able to squeeze underneath the deadline, so it will roll to 27. So that increased interest will have to be offset by the payment, and hopefully Mr. Powell and whoever those other people are get together and do that. And we still have the option to repay, or if you want, or prepay the entire amount at any point in time by either going to a third organization, so go to a bank, right, or go to Mark Haynes' personal checking. And I might be wrong on that. But we do have the ability to borrow those funds and pay off the note, all right? And then we could turn around and refinance it again with the Board of Land Commissioners if we so choose. And if we decided to just refinance with the Board of Land Commissioners, we have to borrow 125% of the outstanding balance. So you say, well, that doesn't sound good because we have to borrow 25% more. Well, if the interest rate reductions are significant, so I'm not looking for a recession, but let's say worst case scenario, we have a recession, in which case the interest rates generally tumbled significantly. If the percentage rate, interest rate drops, would easily cover the 25% of extra money that we borrowed. It would be quote unquote almost free money. So we can always consider that. So I don't know if that all hopefully makes sense to you, but that's,
That's all you want to see about that?
that's about the best I can come up with. So my proposal would be we wait until after September. I could wait till the after December meeting, which is December 8th or 9th, in which case I'd have 60 days to get the money and make the March payment. I guess I'd go with the flow based on what I see or what you tell me if you want each month as we progress. Knowing the money's going to roll, the tax rolls will not be impacted to 27. And there is some cost to do that. And the alternative is, I go borrow now, we try and put it on the tax rolls, blah, 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 what we discussed. So you have to tell me what you'd like me to try to do. Feel free. Go ahead. Oh, wait, let's have Mark start on the opposite.
I want to start over there for a second. I want to read something from last month real quick here.
All right, he let himself off the hook. All right, go ahead, Trent. You got an opinion?
Yeah, I was assuming that interest rates would come down in June, and they just did not. The pressure on them is there, but they're not reducing anything. I don't think it's going to happen in September either, but like you said, there's no harm in waiting till September. I think that's what I'd like to do, is wait and see what happens in September, assume the same thing's going to happen in December.
Okay.
Yeah.
Second.
I
Harvey?
agree with that.
Then Mark agrees. Linda, you have any comment?
I just wanted to, real quick, I just want to go back and see, we did do the 10-year.
Yeah.
Right.
last meeting.
we
That's why I
did.
want to check to make sure we did do that.
Yeah, we did that.
Yeah, we did a 10-year.
That's what I
The question that we left open was
how.
put it on the tax roll 26, 27.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's a moot point now.
Mm-hmm.
So, thoughts, Linda?
I'm just a little confused
Anyone?
because when you started out, Mr. Chairman, you said the first payment was due March of 2020.
January of 26, second one is March.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, all right. And so you're proposing that the January payment due January 2026
Yep.
in the approximate amount of 140,000 or thereabouts?
Yep.
No? Yes?
225.
225,000. It's the first 25% complete on the chart,
Third column over.
Okay, third
Yeah.
column.
due January 26.
Well, can we use part of our funds on hand for that?
Well, we can
It
use,
covers
we
it.
have
Use
enough.
Our
all of
funds
them.
cover it.
We
Yeah.
have all of
We
our
have
funds.
all of it to
Right.
cover.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
We're,
as opposed to borrowing.
Right.
Do you foresee anything else, that some emergency that might come up that we,
Can't foresee an emergency.
I
That's
guess
what it's
not.
called, emergency.
tsunami.
If I could, I would
Yeah.
be a millionaire.
No, I mean, those funds
Okay.
are money that would roll over into our thing. So I think we're,
So proposing that we use accumulated, existing funds right now to make the first payment, use accumulated funds.
correct.
Or funds on hand to make the 225,704. And then when March of 2027 comes around, if we need to borrow, that would be a referendum question that we would have, or a question for borrowing,
No, what I would do is, again, it's subject to interest.
right?
Depending on what happens in the economy and all the numbers, et cetera, if they reduce in September, they might reduce again in December. I would file an application the day after they announce.
Okay.
It takes 60 days to get the money back in hand after the application is applied, so I would go out and do that. I wouldn't get the money, obviously, in January, I wouldn't get it till middle of February, but that would be early enough to make the March payment. And the funds would replenish what we paid the January payment out of our funds. So I wouldn't come back and ask again and again. If we want to refine that, once we get to September, and if the numbers don't look good, from the economy, from the Fed's perspective, then I might wait. You can give me that feedback. But otherwise, once we do it, I'm going to borrow it all
Oh, at one.
at one time and done with it, because I can't, I'd be kind of driving myself nuts filling out applications
for
and
the
hoping I
ta-
get the money in time,
Right.
and that their timetable is projected. If their timetable moves up, and I mean, right now, if you haven't seen them in your community, these guys are out working till 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. And, I mean, they're very aggressive, and so I gotta make sure we have the funds. I don't think I need the exposure that we couldn't pay.
Yeah.
You,
Well, that was per our meeting, our
Yep.
Right.
action last
Correct.
month to borrow
That we
the
borrow on one.
1.1.29
Right.
Yep.
for 10 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just wanted to
Okay.
clarify and make sure that there wasn't a change in that. So, okay, everybody on board?
Yep.
All right, let's leave it at that. We were fortunate to receive an update from AT&T on our completion schedule. I'll let Jeannie talk to that.
There's
And
somebody putting,
it
okay,
should
there's the map.
be right there.
Okay, yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
excitement, people. AT&T has provided us with a map with the estimated completion dates. Isn't that great? So as you can see by the map on the screen, the town is divided into areas. 2 areas along the border with the town of Egg Harbor will be completed in September, along with Institute and Valmy areas. That northwest upper corner area shows completion in October. By the end of the year, the area along Glidden Drive and Clark Lake will be completed. 3 additional areas in the midsection of our town show completion by early 2026. And the area, including most of Bayshore Drive, will be completed by, for the installation by early summer of 2026. So please understand that some of those dates may be affected by weather. We all know about winter here. Also, I just want to remind people that, as I have tried to do when I have updates, I will mention them at every board meeting. And also, updates will be posted on our website. This map, if it's not yet on the website, will be on the website. Also, I stay in close contact with AT&T, the team, and together we'll be coordinating a time for education for how you can use all the wonderful benefits of high-speed internet. So again, you can sign up now if you wish. You can go to our website. There's a place there where you can get the link, and you know, so if you're so inclined, go ahead and do so. You know, we're all paying for this wonderful service, so let's take advantage of it.
Anything else? That's it?
Yep.
Sure. You have a
Right,
question?
so we have the estimated completion dates. What about when work is scheduled? I think I mentioned that I did get a call from one of our residents saying, do they get a heads up as to when they will start working in their neighborhood? And that's pretty difficult to determine at this point. So you
Yeah.
just kind of keep your eyes
Yeah.
open. When they're working down the road, they're probably coming to your house very soon.
What they had mentioned a while back was that they have these like place card things or whatever that they hook on your doorknob.
No, that's when it's available.
That's when it's available.
But to
But
answer
as
you-
far as,
Yeah.
Anticipating the work when they're going to be in your neighborhood.
well, only from what we have at the map.
It's
So,
really tough, Linda, because
yeah.
they've got a boring crew. They actually have multiple boring crews. They have a crew that's hanging the fiber. And in my own neighborhood, it's been, I thought they were done. They came down the street, they left. Then they came back and did section of Whitefish Bay. I thought they were done. They were gone for 2 weeks. They're back this week. In the meantime, there's another crew hanging cable on 4 different roads.
So, and
It's
on
going to
top
be
of that,
fluid.
on top of that, they'll be completed in the town of Egg Harbor, it looks like, in November. That whole town will be done. The town of Sturgeon Bay is going to be, I made a note, probably estimated early next year, early spring or early summer, that kind of time frame. So they're working in multiple places, not just us. And of course, they're also doing the village of Egg Harbor, and I don't know where they are with that. But obviously,
obviously they have a heck of a lot of contractors that they're working with, and, you know, they want to get the job done, they want to get paid. So, you know, money speaks.
I
So-
don't think you're gonna get notification
I
other
don't.
than a bunch of trucks.
Yeah.
Red or white?
Watch the trucks.
They're pretty easy to spot with those giant rolls of orange cable out and about, so.
And that's water main. No, okay. All right, good enough. Moving on, we have before us a request to name a road, which right now is a private road, made up of a strip of property alongside of Bay Shore Drive. And news to me this evening is Linda said that she did some homework on this to find out a little bit more background on the owners. And Linda, you want to talk about that for just a moment?
Well, right now, at least from what I can see of the neighborhood, it's not a private road. It is a single driveway
Yes.
heading back to the, used to be the Shaendorf property on Bay Shore Drive. So it's a single, long driveway, as you can see on the overhead map there, leading back to their house. So the proposal is to divide that into at least 4 separate lots, which it would be allowed. It's under SF20. So I think the minimum there is about a half acre, 20,000 square feet, half acre or so. So they could get their 4 lots into that with current zoning. Per our land use department, if you have a parcel and you're going to serve 4 or more residences or separate addresses, you need a name for that road just for emergency contact and things like that, that road now will have a name. So the proposal is to name it Harbor View Terrace, which they do need an agreement, a road easement or road naming agreement with the county for that name. I did check, it is unique. There's Harbor Ridge and Harbor School, but there is no Harbor View Terrace, so that would certainly fit with the parcel. The parcel, I don't think there's anybody here representing that development. I'll call it a development. I did notice that according to land records, it's registered in the name of an LLC with a Florida address, and I think they're supposed to be registered with the Wisconsin Department of Financial Institutions, but I did not see anything out there. Normally, a corporation, to do business in Wisconsin, you need to be licensed here. So that would be a question that I'm sure land use could answer, since they are the ones that are really have oversight of this project.
So we would bounce it back to Tara and let her do the necessary homework and just revisit this next month? Would be the best alternative?
Are we okay with the name? I'm
okay with the
Me
name.
too.
Is it-
And another, oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, is that what you would suggest? Given
Right,
the
that,
LLC?
right, that if it is a corporation, you know, that they're licensed to do business in Wisconsin, and maybe a landowner is exempt from that requirement. But another thing that land use pointed out, and on the map there, any, like that triangle in orange,
That's
and the
only-
map before it and the map after it,
Yep.
those are forest, woodland forest, and you are only allowed to remove a maximum of 40% of woodland when it has that designation.
And
So
some has already
certainly,
been removed.
still have plenty of room for a house,
Yeah.
but you can't clear cut, put it that way.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's take this a little differently rather than bring it back next month. If no one has an issue with the naming convention, let's agree to the name, subject to the clarification on the LLC. And if it turns out that it's not a requirement for that, it'll be done. If it is a requirement, it'll be held up until we bring it back and get clarification. Does that seem as a good solution for you?
Sure,
Okay.
it seems so.
So if no one has a issue, then we'll just put it in a motion to support it, given that requirement.
So do you want a motion?
Please.
Okay, so I would make a motion that we send a recommendation of support for the private road name of Harbor View Terrace on this parcel, and subject to the Door County Land Use Department clarifying ownership and any requirements that an LLC may need for that
Okay.
minor subdivision or minor land division.
We have a motion by Linda, second by
Second?
Jeannie. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Negative, motion carried. All right. Trent, looks like the ordinance committee update.
Sure, so, you know, we started with a binder of ordinances, read through those, separated them out into 4 categories. We had ones that are still in play, ones that have been already replaced or taken over by something from the county or state level, ones that we needed to repeal because they're no longer relevant, and we got down to just a smaller list of ones that needed to be rewritten. So that's where we're at right now. We did bring 3 of those here tonight that have been rewritten. Linda did a great job going through those, putting some time into those and making them more standardized as well. And then our next steps will be, once we get all these done, we're going to have a website where people can go and search for you know, road naming ordinance or burning ordinance, so they'll be able to find those much easier.
So will we be using Amy then to, are we going to have a website update? How are you going to manage through that? Or how are you going to get them in there and updated?
Sure, so they're already all scanned in OCR form, optical character
Right.
recognition, so you can find them. So it's just going to be a matter of adding a section of our webpage for ordinances and then making it searchable.
Okay.
And then we did have a request to any of the old ones to put into an archive area in case people like reading old ordinances.
Oh. It's one of my highlights.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Well, should we recap what the ordinances, since
do
we
you want-
have a lot of people here, then you recap.
Well, we
what's
have
in
those
them?
ordinances here.
Were they made available to everyone?
I have no idea.
I didn't know if you want to do them one at a time as we go through and
Yeah,
vote
we
on
can,
them.
we can do the ones that you brought forth for tonight you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
planned on going through those.
Okay,
Oh, okay, is that
Yeah.
good with you, Linda? Oh, okay.
thank you.
I didn't know what, maybe I missed something. All right, let's start with the first one, which is ordinance number 1, 2025, which is regulation of activities at town parks. And this ordinance that I brought forth last month, and as I mentioned before the meeting, this is the same ordinance that you've had with the modification under section 3 of the penalties. I took the ordinances that the committee did and sent them off to Amy Sullivan, our town attorney, and I asked her to make sure that the penalties, we had different verbiage in each ordinance. So she just basically came back and said, here's what you should do, and try and make them look similar. Obviously, they're going to be a little bit different, but, so that's basically what's happened here. There's not a lot of change to this ordinance. I believe, Trent, you guys added, at your ordinance meeting, you added camping, is that correct?
Yes, so we added camping, and then just kind of adjusted the language in littering and disposal, and also the sales of goods and services. So really, we had a good group discussion about everything that was going on with it. And the real issue that we got to was, as far as number 7, the sales of goods and services, is are we gonna get to a point where we're picking and choosing who gets to sell things and who doesn't get to sell things and where they get to do that and how they get to do that. So the recommendation was to go as a total ban on any sales of goods and services by any for-profit business at any town park.
Okay.
And so that's the way it's written. Any discussion from you? Yeah.
And the users that we currently have are the school are all nonprofits, and the Cubs will be. So they're done playing this year, but they will be for next season. So that was the only section that you guys, or the only 2 things you added to this. And then under section 3 penalties, I'll just read it. Any person who violates the ordinance or any part thereof shall forfeit $250 for the first offense, $500 for subsequent offenses, together with the cost of prosecution, including all attorney fees and all other associated charges. Each day of violation shall be considered a separate and distinct violation. And then everything else in there is the same.
Mr. Chair, we did have one
Yeah.
other change on enforcement. Is that what,
Okay.
I think the last one it said by the Door County Sheriff, but we wanted to clarify, it's the Door County Sheriff or Sheriff Deputy, and then any officer of the state of Wisconsin with police powers or any town board officer, because as you know,
So
we're required to enforce ordinance as well, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep, you're right.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
My only comment was, I know one of the prior ordinances said, no overnight parking at Whitefish Bay Launch. So we have, under number 3, camping, overnight camping is prohibited. Do we still abide by the no overnight parking at any park?
It's actually posted on that board that Leo had put up there in the corner. I know it's not the most visible.
Can you have
We-
overnight parking at the town park?
When we have had historically, somebody's called us and said they need to park overnight. And that's how we've handled it. And for example, like a construction crew, or we had Safransky's, the neighbor down there, called, they're having their driveway
Right.
paved. They asked to park overnight. So I can restrict overnight parking, that's not an issue.
If everyone else is okay
Well,
with it,
I
I'm
mean,
okay with it.
What, are we
Yeah.
gonna worry about the people that are parking there when they've had too much to drink at class tournaments? You know what I mean? They leave their
Yeah.
vehicle there to get a ride home.
Just leave it then.
They'll leave their
I'm
car
fine.
there for 3-4 days. Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't think we need to. I mean, I think the people that are concerned have called and asked, and we've said not an issue. Okay.
Okay.
Anything else on this one? If not, we'll do a motion to approve this. It's a roll call, and then we'll move on to the next
So this is,
twos.
you know,
Go ahead.
obviously going with jet ski, correct? I mean, this is part of that.
Right, correct. It's no commercial business, basically, no for-profit organizations. Food trucks, Segways, you name it, whatever, drone business, flying helicopters, whatever it might be. So, yes,
So even despite the fact that the fairway that leads right down to the water, considering it's a public road, I can't enter onto the public road and drop off a jet ski.
it's not a public road, it's a public park, and the issues that we have today are the same issues we've expressed before. There is a liability concern. Our insurer told us no. Our attorney told us no. So for the benefit of the people of Sevastopol, we are implementing this to protect them.
But,
So,
but according to the public records, it's a public road.
well, I can't answer that for you. Thank
I've
you.
got a map if you want to take a look at it, that I actually got from the deeds.
It doesn't matter, it's a town park.
So if I'm not doing money exchanges on the public park, then I'm not breaking an ordinance, I'm just dropping off jet skis.
I believe you may have heard what we just said. Selling goods or services by for-profit business will not be allowed at any park. It's pretty simple and straightforward. So, all right. Anything else from anyone on the board? Then a motion to approve ordinance number 1-2025.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 01-2025, regulation of activities at in town parks.
All right, we have a motion by Trent,
I'll
second
second it.
Second by Linda. All right, and this is a roll call, so Amy,
Supervisor Olson?
Aye.
Jeannie Vogel?
Aye.
Supervisor Waite?
Aye.
Chairman Dalmolfo?
aye.
Supervisor Markane?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll move on to ordinance 2025, regulation noxious weeds and invasive species in the town of Sevastopol. And this one was brought forth by Trent, so Trent, I'll let you
Sure,
talk
and
through that.
The only change I want to make before we get too far into it is a lot of our discussions in our committee were around how we we number them, we number the ordinances differently all the time.
Yep.
So we just did 01-2025, this one's, the number is 2025-02, so we'd like to move that to 02-2025 so it matches the agenda.
Yeah, no, I
And that'll
agree
be
with
our standard naming convention going forward, hopefully.
Yeah,
Until next year when we
I don't know why that one is backwards, but you're right.
But yeah, so we did have a noxious weeds ordinance. I can't remember the exact year on it. Oh, I'm sorry, there it is. But it needed to be updated for newer weeds that are in place and just to match up with what the DNR recommends. So Linda put a lot of time into updating this one and made sure that it matched up with all the DNR and Wisconsin statutes.
Right, and we have Mr. Miller here if he wanted to comment on that. I think you kind of agreed with our proposed ordinance, so.
Take a mic, please. Use,
Is there a mic for you?
use the mic, please.
And thank you for coming this evening.
Of course, thank you for updating these. Yeah, Linda shared it with me, and I think everything looks good. You guys added garlic mustard and Canada thistle, which, from the perspective of the county, they are not priority species for us to control countywide just because of the prevalence throughout the county. So the other species on the list are ones that DCIS does manage, because we do have a good control over them so far over the past few years, and we do stand a chance at eradicating them from the county, hopefully. So the other ones there, just be nice to have the support from the township just to get more homeowners on board with removal of them and control.
Thank you. Thank you.
We left enforcement, just go back to it.
The enforcement's the same.
Yep.
Section 5.
Yep, that one's the same, okay. So does anyone else have questions? If not, a motion to approve.
Sure. So I make the motion that we approve ordinance 02-2025, regulating noxious weeds and invasive species in the town of Sevastopol.
Okay, motion by Trent, second by...
Second.
Second by Jeannie. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none. Amy?
Supervisor Hain,
Aye.
Supervisor Olson,
Aye.
Supervisor Vogel,
Aye.
Supervisor Waite,
Aye.
Chairman Wolfle.
Aye. All right, 2 out of the 4.
Okay.
Um,
All right.
Next one is the snowmobile travel on town roads.
Yes, so we had 3 ordinances in the past written about when you were allowed to travel with a snowmobile next to a town road or on the side of the road. And really, some of them they named roads that are no longer used as part of the trail. So we rewrote the ordinance to match up with the DNR regulations on snowmobiles, making it reasonable. So anybody who's going from a house to a trail, or from a gas station to a trail, or a hotel or anything like that, they are allowed to ride on non-highway roads on the side of the road at the posted speed limit, or I guess under the posted speed limit. Let's see, anything else that we want to do? Yeah, so this one really, it just brings it current. It doesn't name any roads that are currently part of the trail. It's just, this is what the DNR recommends. So, yeah.
Okay. Any questions from anyone? I think we've got the process down. Someone like to make a motion? Could be Trent.
All right. Sure. Well, I'll make the motion to pass ordinance 03-2025, regulating snowmobile travel on town roads.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Trent, second by Linda, with the change of the naming convention on that ordinance as well.
Yes.
And Amy, if you will.
Chairman Wolfle,
Yes. Aye.
Supervisor Waite,
Aye.
Supervisor Vogel,
Aye.
Supervisor Olson,
Aye.
Supervisor Hain.
Aye.
All right. Leaves us with 1 to go, Trent.
Yes. And now this one's our burning ordinance. Do we want to table this one until next month based on, or I'm going to defer to Linda on this.
So we sent it to Sturgeon Bay Fire Chief Kaylin Montevideo for her comments, and her response was had a question on enforcement. So, and plus our attorney is making them consistent when it comes to enforcement. So if you look at section 4, we could probably still approve this subject to the recommendation that section 4 be enforcement, comma, penalty and forfeitures. And we could add a sentence that says this ordinance shall be enforced by the issuance of a citation by the town, and then carry on with any person who violates, and the amounts can be consistent per our attorney. Since this is, since burning could be a serious offense if somebody's violating, I think, you know, having a higher amount for that second or third offense is warranted because it is serious. So maybe with those, that change there. And then also she had a question, the fire chief had a question on section 3, number 2, fireworks. The county's new comprehensive zoning proposal for through 2045 says that they implement whatever the DNR policies are on fireworks. So the town really does not issue any fireworks permit. We have one
Correct.
seller within the town, but we have never, or we've discontinued issuing permits for the lighting or maintaining of fireworks. So maybe we need to change that, to tweak that, to say just something along the line that the town will not be issuing any fireworks permits. Or only,
Or just the town does
except-
not issue fireworks permit.
Yes, the town does
period.
not, period. Very good.
Yeah, just add that, Amy.
Does not
Town
issue
does
any.
not issue fireworks permits.
Right. So with those changes, we should be good to go. She's reviewed them, so.
Have you captured? You're good to go? Okay. Gee, Trent, your name's on this. You can make a motion.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance number 04-2025, burning ordinance.
All right, motion by Trent, second by?
I'll second.
Second by Linda. Any further discussion? If not, Amy?
Chairman Wolfle,
Aye.
Supervisor Waite,
Aye.
Supervisor Vogel,
Aye.
Supervisor Hain,
Aye.
Supervisor Olson.
Aye.
Aye. All right,
Great.
motion carried. That one's done.
Thank you,
All
everybody.
right, great. Thank you. Thanks for the work. Get moved on to something here. All right. Oh, treasurer's report. Let's see here. We have the account balances and your budget versus actual January through July. And you have the transactions by date for the month of July. And Amy, do you have any, you must have some comments. I see your name here, treasurer.
I do. The town has received the August settlement from the county for the remainder of the taxes. We have also received fire dues from the state, and we're going into budget time. So please start thinking about your 2026 budgets to your respective committees.
All right, thank you. So we would need a motion to put these on file, approve and put them on file. Who would like to do that?
I'll make motion to approve and put on file the treasurer's report.
Financial reports and treasurer.
Finance
That's fine.
report, sure.
All right, motion by Mark, second by?
Second?
Second by Trent. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Good, moved. All right, thank you. All right, approval vouchers, bills, and claims. I think everybody signed those. I think I was the last. So, a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers, bills, and claims from July 22nd, 2025 through August 18th, 2025.
Motion by Jeannie, second by,
Second.
you guys have to, I couldn't
I'll
tell
take
who
that
was
one.
first.
I'll take that one.
All right, we'll give it to Mark.
Thanks, Trent.
Motion by Jeannie, second by Trent. Approval of vouchers, bills, and claims. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right. Any oral committee reports? Well, we do have, before we go there, we do have ordinance committee minutes from June 5th. We'll need a motion to approve those.
I'll
And-
move to,
Go ahead. That's fine.
I'll move to approve and place on file the ordinance committee meeting minutes of Thursday, June 5th, 2025.
Okay, motion from Linda, second by?
Second.
Second by Mark. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. All right, does anyone have a oral committee report that you'd like to share?
Quickly?
Quickly.
Okay, Destination Sturgeon Bay. I did get to attend their meeting on July 30th because it was on a day that I was not working at the Y. So they were all hyped up and getting ready for the tall ships. So if you had a chance to go downtown and see the tall ships or take a sunset cruise or whatever, I thank them for including the Latham and Smith George Penny Park as a viewing site for the tall ships in our town. So, and they're also sending out their membership forms. You do have to, unlike Destination Door County, where memberships are free, Destination Sturgeon Bay, their annual membership is $425 per year. So any businesses that want to jump on board, if you're not already a member of Destination Sturgeon Bay, you can reach out to them. Door County Tourism Zone Commission, we meet on Thursday. That includes Destination Door County's strategic plan and a few other important items. And then, can I just mention the unit meeting?
No, I was going to do that later, but that's fine. Go right ahead.
So we have our unit meeting on Thursday, this Thursday, lunch at 6. We'll talk about that later. But if you saw the memo from Karen Bailing about they're reviewing, like I mentioned, their comprehensive zoning ordinance. So if you have any input as to zoning districts, conditional use permits, or administrative procedures through land use, to put those to her attention. And I thought if we do have any, we can bring them up on Thursday night, since she is our featured speaker. So,
Is she, trying to remember, I think Hugh gave it to us last month, or the month before, about conditional uses and where they were tracking. They were tracking the activities that they had never tracked before. Will she touch on that at the meeting?
I told her that would probably be a topic of discussion,
Okay.
yes.
All right, great. I was just going to say, if she hasn't, that would be terrific.
Right,
And,
follow up on conditional use permits.
And at your meeting with Destination Sturgeon Bay, did they tell you what a tall ship was? Then you don't have to answer that. It's okay.
Well, it looks like this.
There were people, I mean, I went down there, but there were people that said, well, what is a tall ship? And I think the conclusion we reached, and there were some people that had a beer in their hand, they said, anything that doesn't go underneath the bridge. And I didn't ask if that was the Michigan Street Bridge or the Highway Bridge, but I thought it was an appropriate non-answer.
Well, it was a huge turnout. I mean, I think everybody.
It was, and so were the Clydesdales, so they did themselves good on both categories.
And if I could just mention the newsletter real quickly. It is out there. It should be in your mailbox very, very soon if you have a mailbox. It will be there soon. And we were pleasantly surprised with the price, because we went from an 8-page to a 12-page, but it's only $5,272.
So less than expected.
Yes, much less than expected.
And if you don't get the newsletter, it will be on our website, and I believe we'll have plenty of hard copies at the town office. You're welcome to stop and pick one up if you prefer to read it in hard copy form.
Thank you.
All right,
Mr.
thank you.
Chairman, I had a quick one. Just a thought we discussed after our ordinance committee. So now that we have the roads are being rebuilt, that we are repaved, I had the idea of, I'm wondering if we should send a letter to residents on roads that are being fixed. What I noticed when Walker Road was redone, as you drive down it, you could see a lot of people would back out, stop, and then turn their wheel and spin up the brand new blacktop. And now that's going to look like that for the next 30 years. And there was also one piece of farm equipment parked on it. Somebody was flying a drone off of it, and that sank in. So, it would be nice to notify people of like best practices for the first 24 hours of after we do the road, to help protect it. And really, it's not going to be redone for another 30 years, so it's going to look like that in front of your house. So it might be just a good way to let people know, hey, if you don't do that, it's going to look a lot better and last longer.
That's a good point.
So.
Or just a heads up.
Well,
Once
we could
decide on
combine
the
it.
once we decide on the roads we're going to do, send those people
Send
a
it out.
letter
Yeah, exactly.
saying, heads up, they're going to be working, and by the way, don't
Yeah, don't.
Take it easy on the new black.
And if you see AT&T come along with a trencher, stop them. So, okay, that would be a
thank
good
you.
idea. I know that Amy looked extremely excited with the opportunity to find those people and notify them.
Well, we have that tool through the county. and
It's,
that
you know, this
folder
may
tool.
be a case where
It's
we
pretty
could use AI.
Yeah.
That would be Trent's artificial intelligence. All right, good to go. Thank you. It's a good ask. I mean, a good reason to do. We expanded everything when we came to short-term rentals, and we've expanded people that are asking for variances to make sure that we incorporate more people. It makes sense to do that. I think it's a good effort. So we have the county board report, which is District 14 supervisor.
About 15.
He's got 15, isn't he, 14? Yeah, maybe he's been upgraded. Does Dale know he's, whatever, never mind. The only thing I'll make mention of here is way down on the bottom where it talks to 2025 county board municipal share of public safety radio and system costs. As you know, this is a very expensive effort to upgrade to digital. The good news is it was questionable whether we were paying a portion, who, what, where, when, and how. The good news is they're paying for all the hardware. The county. The bad news, I shouldn't say bad news, but the other side is with this, there's a lot of extra add-on costs, software upgrade, maintenance, fine-tuning, et cetera, et cetera. We don't know to what degree, but there will be ongoing expense to the town to maintain these radios. And my point in mentioning it here is only that we really need to keep a close guide on what our home-based, Sevastopol-based EMRs, because we don't need to pick up extra cost when these services are being duplicated by fire departments or not EMRs, but what's the next one up from, a paramedic. So I leave that in your trusting hands just to make sure we're on top of that, and so it doesn't slip through the cracks, and we can give them an updated list on a regular basis when they ask for it. So good to go. Thanks you. Okay.
So he is 14, it's been 15 the last 2 months, this month's and last month.
I don't know how he got elevated. It's correct on mine now that I wrote it in. Okay, sure.
Since we have Jason Miller here, so one of the resolutions was approval of a PAMF grant for Phragmites control. So the county is getting some money, or?
Yeah, so we get a lot of money from various grants. So how my program works is all the invasive control that we do in the county is funded either through donations from people like you, towns, whatever, or through grants either through the state or federal level. And after the American Recovery Act funds that we had ran out, I'm sort of piecemealing things together. So one of the grants that I applied for is a very small scale grant. So that is an acronym. My job has tons of acronyms. It is the Phragmites Adaptive Management Framework. It's a program that's put on by the Great Lakes Commission that anyone managing Phragmites can participate in. Doesn't matter who. You don't have to be me. If you have Phragmites on your land and you want to manage it, you could take part in this program. So what they do with this program is an adaptive learning model. So you monitor your population of Phragmites, you give them some data, you tell them what management you've done, and then the following year you kind of report back on how your management worked for that program. So they can really understand best what's being done and what's actually working well for Phragmites treatments. So with this program they have 12 different management combinations. And before this, so the Great Lakes Commission received a very small, well not a small grant, but they received a 2-year grant to bolster this. So beforehand they had a lot of information about 3 of these 12 management combinations and basically none from all the other ones. So they wanted to get all that information, so they were putting out funding requests to organizations and people that you can say, hey, we're going to give you money to go do these other things so we can have a better model. So I put in a proposal and we received money to do these other management techniques. They're only happening at 7 populations because some of them are much more time intensive to do, so we can't do them countywide, but it's bettering the management for Phragmites overall for everyone.
Okay, great.
Could you
Thanks,
send
thank
the
you.
information to Brown County so they could get some money?
Yeah, honestly, that is something people ask me a lot. So
Along the highway?
we are really unique in Door County because not many counties have someone like me who spends, that's all my job is focusing on invasive species. So Brown County has someone like me, but they manage 4 different counties. So they have priorities, but Phragmites is probably just not one of their priorities, especially along the interstate. I don't know for sure, but it's probably just they have a small pot of funds. They have to figure out where can we use this money best to make the most impact for stuff.
I used to be a motorcycle rider, and I had 2 deer pop out right by Bayshore Park out of the Phragmites that weren't visible on the highway on the opposite side. I mean, they missed me, but they whacked the car behind me. So
I'm glad they missed you. Yeah, that's one reason. I mean, people all the time, you guys have probably heard it, you've all seen it. You cross the county line and you notice a change right away.
It's dramatic.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that we continue to work on, so.
So,
people
job
know
well
about it,
done.
so
Yeah,
Keep it up.
yeah.
We'll try to.
All right. Thank you. All right, moving on. We have the county, no, we had that, I'm sorry. We have inspection limiteds, billing for the month and building permits. And then Amy pulled the ones that we also have for our town, like we used to get. I'd only mention one thing, which kind of surprised me. There's going to be a 36 by 48 detached pole building going up behind
On the
John
highway.
Blahnik, on, right off the highway. So they're very popular, let's put it that way.
That's huge.
Yeah, it is huge. All right, correspondence, you have a copy of the,
That's not a big deal at all.
That isn't? Sounds
well,
big.
by some standards.
Your house is big.
Door County Century Bike Ride, coming up once again. You have a copy of their map, all the details in your packet on that. You have the copy of the Sturgeon Bay Fire Department report, and the payment advice from the government on video services, computer aid, July shared revenues, the one that really matters. And then Dale Carlson's doing some wood cutting. And that's all of the correspondence. So we go on to announcements. This is new, vintage car revival. I read about this morning on, I think it was the Peninsula Pulse. And it was an interesting new show, new effort at the Thresherie grounds this weekend, featuring a variety of things. Take a peek at all the different things that they have for 3 days running, from bands, you name it. It might be worth a look. It was $10, I think. It wasn't bad. Linda mentioned that Wisconsin Towns Association unit meeting is here on Thursday night at 6 p.m. The class tournaments, which everybody is probably quite aware of, it's the different school years vying off against one another at our town park, runs August 29th through the 31st, and there may be a car parked overnight in the lot.
Correction on that, Dan.
Sorry?
Correction on that. The 30th and 31st.
Oh.
There's no games the 29th, but you're more than welcome to come help set up. They would really
30th and
appreciate
31st.
On the 29th.
Okay.
I'm sure there'd be free cold beverages while you're helping set
And
up
you
on
can park your
Friday.
car overnight, not a problem. And our next Board of Supervisors meeting is Monday, September 15th at 7 p.m. And I don't know if there's anything that we need to bring back that I'm aware of at the moment.
I will not be here on
That's-
Monday, September 15th.
And
I would request to be excused.
we will excuse you in advance. How's
Thank you.
that? All right, good enough. The best part of the meeting from our videographer's perspective, who's hiding in the back room, is,
Motion to adjourn?
that's what he said, motion to adjourn. Motion by Trent,
Second.
second by Mark. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.